I'm so thrilled to be able to share my interview with Morgan Yule from Knobez with you today. I came across Morgan when I was reading Instagram, scrolling through Instagram a few weeks ago. Her product jumped out at me. She has invented the product Knobez, and we'll explain what that is in a moment. It's a fantastic Christmas and seasonal decor item. In fact, there's every day as well. It was a brand new product that no one was making, so she decided that she wanted it, so she was going to make it. She's also at her core an educator. And when I could see that she loved business and she loved Christmas, I immediately wanted to touch base with her. And within 24 hours, she was in touch with me going, yes, I'd love to be on your podcast. And particularly when it's a new podcast, it can be, daunting getting guests, and her enthusiasm is just a sign of the person she is. And as I said, at her core, she is an educator. So I hope you enjoy our little bit of time together, and please share any questions you've got. I will share in the show notes all of the contact details so you can get your hands on these gorgeous products. And again, hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. I am thrilled to have Morgan Yule, the most appropriate name for her business, as you'll soon find out, with me today. She is the inventor and owner of Knobez, a new company from 2021, so very new, only 3 years now. And I'm going to just tell you before I hand over to Morgan why we're here today, because as many of you will know, my background is a Christmas store and I still love Christmas. And I came across Knobez on my Instagram feed, and I could see that not only was it an amazing product, which I hadn't seen before, I was really excited about, but also I could see that Morgan was very enthusiastic about sharing and educating, and has a second Instagram page about the business side. And I just thought I have to reach out to her, and you came straight back to me, which was amazing. And so we decided to get together to run this podcast. So hello, Morgan.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. I can't wait to tell you more about my story and my invention. And it's an exciting product, and it's been a fun journey, but not without its bumps in the road. So thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my story.
You're so welcome. You're right. I don't think any business goes one direction. There's always going to be bumps, and we learn. The main thing is, I guess, that we're learning from all the ups and the downs as we go.
Correct.
So first of all, tell us, what is Knobez for those who are not aware of your product?
Yeah, so knobbies are decorative cabinet knob covers. They simply grip right over your existing hardware. You don't need any tools. You don't have to change anything. And I went to go buy them one day. I was like, what if I could make my cabinet knob look like a Christmas ornament, and it would add a clutter-free decoration to my kitchen? Because when I would host for Christmas Eve brunch, I found myself moving my countertop decorations to make room for the food. And then it just looked like a room with food instead of Christmas. And so every other room in my home is decorated to the nines, from nutcrackers at the front door to garland everywhere. We have a lot of heirlooms. My grandmother actually made these little cup with styrofoam head angels. And so they are like 50 years old. And so just every room has something that is just special. We really love Christmas. And when I realized that there wasn't anything on the market to decorate my cabinet knobs, my past business was an education for 20 years. And I found that everything that I had ever done before had led up to, I could actually invent something and bring it to market and know how to demonstrate it, and really just lean into sharing. And I knew that I wasn't the only one who would want to decorate like this. And I'm very grateful that I'm not, because it was an expensive journey. But it's so fun to hear people really enjoy decorating with knobbies for the holiday seasons. And like you said, I've been around for this. The invention started 3 years ago, so this is like a year and a half into bringing my products to market, and the response has been amazing.
That's a great point. People think, great idea, let's just do it. We'll have it ready
Yeah.
in a month. So that's an 18-month sort of time frame from the beginning of an
It was
idea.
an expensive 18 months before that, and then once I finally had this product, it was like, "Okay, now I have to sell it." Like, now I really have to see if people are going to want it, not just comment on your post, not just say, "Oh, that's a cool idea." They have to put their money where their mouth is, and they did, and it's just so amazing to see how many orders come in, and then they share, and they love it, and it's a fun, that's a fun aspect of the business.
And for those who are watching the video, I can see one behind you
Yes.
on your cabinet there,
Oh, other
and
side.
yeah,
Here we
the
go.
peppermint. That's right. So yes, and they're really sweet. I'm gonna just smell. If you're on the podcast, it's knobez.com. And I'll be sharing on the in the notes all the relevant connections for you. But just in case you're listening and you want to look it up, because there's still time before Christmas to get yours, so that you can also make sure your home looks just as beautiful. And I think it's a brilliant idea. I totally agree. We are constantly moving things around in that kitchen. If we want it to look pretty for Christmas, then there's no room for all the food and
Yeah.
the many guests who are coming into our home throughout the December month, and particularly Christmas Day itself.
Yeah.
So I thought this is quite a broad question, but as I said, it's a new business, and so everything is
Mhm.
fresh for you in the process of going through it. And so I thought you might be able to share with us some of your biggest surprises, both positive and negative, that you've found since you had that idea and shared with your family that life is changing for your household, and you'll be
Yes, it
going to become
has.
small business owners.
Yeah, so when I had the idea, I just knew I wasn't the only one who would want to decorate like this. So you have to ask yourself a question. Is there a reason this hasn't been invented before, or has no one been able to execute it and bring it to market? And the more I thought about it, the more I just realized, well, I think it's the latter. I just think that no one has brought this to market yet because maybe it's daunting, or how do you figure it out? When I first started, I actually was thinking, well, I'm going to make it out of silicone because I know that silicone will stretch and be a great product. But then I quickly realized that silicone doesn't glue, or there's no adhesive to glue it to plastic. So every manufacturer that I was calling, not only were they telling me that it would take a $500,000 to bring my product to market,
Ooh,
they could have just told me they didn't want to do it, but they
yeah.
didn't. But I was calling US manufacturers and saying, how do I organize my thoughts to get this product to market? And what I found was really quite stunning. I was thinking, man, I am a former educator, very big on learning, and I'm a lifelong learner. I love US made products. Let's make this in the US, right? Like, let's blow this up. What I found was, after calling on hundreds of manufacturers
Wow.
in the US, no lie, hundreds, signing NDAs, getting, some sort of quote or whatever, the ones that would even give me a quote. Nobody in the US wanted to touch it. No one. And I even found a US manufacturer, and I'll show you real quick. I have them right here. I found a US manufacturer that this was my prototype collection. They would send them to me black, unfinished, undecorated, and I hand glittered every single one of these my very first year to have a proof of concept. I knew that I couldn't put hundreds of thousands of dollars into this idea if nobody wanted it. So this really got me my start. However, when I went to go place my order for a pad printed peppermint, they doubled the price on me. We had already talked about it, and I was ready to move forward. And all of a sudden I said, give me the last quote for, moving forward. And the price per knobby doubled. And I
Wow.
called and I was like, what's going on? And they said, well, we forgot to put in the labor costs. And I said, I can't do it. There's no way. There's no way that I can bring this
Mm.
product to market and expect any sort of return on what I would have to manufacture it for in the US. So I was very surprised. What is amazing is that a week later, I was able to connect with the president of the United Inventors Association.
Yeah.
And he actually lives in the same town as I do. It was amazing. We ended up meeting for coffee and actually lemonade. Like the place that we went was like a little cafe. So I had a lemonade. Um, and I gave him, I showed him, I said, this is the product. This is my idea. I want to bring it to life. And he was able to help me. He is an amazing businessman. He's been in the field for over 20 years. He has his own sourcing company, and came very highly recommended, rave reviews. Everyone thinks a lot of this gentleman, and his name is Carmine. And he's been wonderful. So, partnered with Carmine, we ended up having to go overseas. I started with a factory in South Korea to get them manufactured, and they did an amazing job. So, partnering with Carmine this last year got me my very first pre-packaged, retail ready, no hand glittering at all, which was great. That was a lot, but then I got this amazing product from the factory, and there were some kinks that needed to be worked out because it's a new product. No one had
Yeah.
ever done it before. Um, but I found myself just really excited about other people's excitement, because when I was sharing on social media, all I had was a 3D prototype and all I had was an idea. And to see that organically grow, what I think is so amazing about TikTok and Instagram, all of those followers are organic. I don't pay for ads. I don't um, advertise on Instagram per se or TikTok, other than sharing my product. And if people want it, then they follow and they buy them and they share. Um, I think it's important to remember that they are not universal, that there are limitations to knobbies in general. The average size cabinet knob is an inch and a fourth in diameter. So when I was designing it, the cylinder on the background, I was like, okay, let's go a little bit less and let's go a little bit more so that it'll fit a variety of cabinet knobs. Some of the feedback that I got last year was people that had, oh, other side, people that had these larger sized cabinet knobs, and the actual diameter of the peppermint itself was smaller than their actual hardware.
Ah.
And so listening to them and seeing them try and seeing the corners of their cabinet knobs stick out, I was like, "Oh, that's not what it's designed for, but I love that you want them." So listening to customer feedback, this is exciting. I'm launching these on Friday. These are my
Wow.
Knobbies XL. So being able to share on social media and being able to engage in my following and my customers is priceless.
And,
I
and
was able to launch new products because of the feedback that I was receiving from, like I said, my customers and followers.
And you've done an amazing job. Just I was looking at the numbers: 79,000 on Instagram and 105,000 on TikTok. So I know that you're prolific getting your content out there, and
Yeah,
regular posts are coming through. And quite often you're repeating it, which is fine because you've got new people
yeah,
seeing it all the time. It doesn't matter. The message is getting out there, and you've got new eyeballs on it every time you do it, and it's clearly working from those numbers. And yeah, it's great to see the posts and the variety that you're putting out there as well. It's amazing. So, did you only start those socials? Like, how far before the actual launch did you start the socials in and start selling the message with the prototype?
I'm not a big social media person, to be quite honest, which is kind of ironic. Man, I'm in my 40s, so I had Facebook, right? Like that was like the initial intro into social media in general. I didn't share a lot. I'm a very honestly kind of private person. Like I'm not somebody that you necessarily need to follow because I'm an influencer. I just am a former teacher educator who invented something. And if you want to know more about my story, then follow, right? Like I'm not showing you this unattainable or this mecca of decorations. I'm actually quite simple, which is kind of interesting. But I go into sharing and doing the posts of just the newer products. I think that back in, man, I think it was like May of 2022 that I really started sharing, like
Good.
putting a little bit out there. I was still very new. I still don't have my patent, which is supposed to go through maybe in the next couple of weeks. That process, there's a whole nother podcast on doing that. But what I've, what I wanted to do is I had to test the market before I ended up going and spending all of this money. If I was the only person who wanted these, then that's not worth it. But allowing myself to put a product that was unfinished, that was not exactly what I wanted, allowing myself to hear well, that wouldn't work for this, or da da da, like to hear the background noise, but know that I was headed towards something that was bigger than just this intro. Some of my first posts actually were stock photos with minimized ornaments on the cabinet knobs because I didn't have anything yet. So it was really sharing the idea, knowing that the patent process had been started, but just sharing the idea of adding a decoration to something that normally doesn't get decorated. And you can't unless you change it. And so offering something that was quick and easy and fun was exciting for me. So it's been a lot of fun to see where I started, which was not perfection, where I am, which is not perfection. Perfection is not the goal. Making a better product each and every time is. And listening to my customers and hearing what they have to say is really how I've been able to make new products, launch new things. I don't know if you know this, but originally I started with my Knobez glitter. I went to Carmine and we were going to do the peppermints. This is in June, May, June, and I placed my order with the factory. We were going to go, and all of the feedback on social media was, "You've got to do a pumpkin. You've got to do a pumpkin. What about
Ah,
handles? I don't have cabinet knobs. I have handles." In June of 2023, I invented handles. I had no idea what I was going to do. So, a little over a year ago, I invented a product out of customer feedback for specific style of handles. And I was able from June until October design, make a tool, and get products within like 3 months.
that's amazing, and in fact, that was going to be my next question: how you come up with the next range of products. And before I get onto that, I really just want to reinforce three things that you've said that I think are just so critical that everyone can use. First of all, if you're looking for a new product, the fact that you came across Carmine, you found someone, you found the source of information, because there is a wide world of factories out there, and particularly in Asia, and
Yep.
knowing how to find the right one is incredibly difficult. So, through the association, is that how you actually found him?
So I actually came across the Inspired Home Show on LinkedIn,
Okay.
and they were listing all of these people that were speaking. And I was like, well, the Inspired Home Show, that sounds like where my product needs to be. And so I was looking, and it was like president of this and vice president of that. And, I don't even know if Scrub Daddy Aaron Krause was on there, but like these people that had been on Shark Tank and like blown their business up. And I'm like, this is amazing. So I'm going on LinkedIn and I'm liking all of them. And then obviously the president of the United Inventors Association, that was like, I need to be in touch with that person. I want to know what they offer. And it's a free, membership. Like you just go on there and you're connected with all of these valuable resources. And so when I saw that he was the president and he owned a sourcing company and he was 30 minutes away, I was like, you've got to be kidding. I cannot not call this guy. And I'll tell you later on in the podcast just how amazing that relationship has been.
And that is the planets aligning well and truly for you there. And then the third point that you made, the second point you made was test. So using
Yep.
social media to test, you always need proof of
Yep.
product. And so you did a great job using socials. And the third thing that is so important, Nothing is ever perfect.
Nope.
So just doing it, to use the old Nike say, just do it, give it a go. And
Yep.
again, keep on top of the commentary so that you know that you're
Yep.
you're going down the right path. But I love
Yep.
that you made reference to that, because a lot of people get stopped in their track by thinking they've got to
Yep.
be perfect the whole time, which is just not possible. Well, you
And
mentioned,
on some ways, I'm a perfectionist, right? Like
yeah,
I want my product to be perfect, but I have to understand that some people aren't going to be able to use my product because their cabinet knob is too small or too large. I can't control that, right? Like
yeah,
some people are going to stretch it to the nth degree and maybe it rips, and I'm happy to make accommodations for that, but I have to be able to put myself out there and then listen to what worked, what didn't work, and then and the next collection make it better, right? And that's where that customer feedback really is invaluable for what I'm able to do when a customer gives me some comments or sends
absolutely.
me an email.
And I know that you're across that yourself, so you're seeing it. You are clearly taking, it's that educator in you, finding the
Yes,
information
it
and
is.
using it to help build the business. You mentioned obviously how you came across making the pumpkins. So I noticed that you've
Yeah,
got obviously additional Christmas designs,
yeah.
Halloween, Valentine's, Easter, and then did I see every day as well? Or some like 4th of
So
July?
I have a lemon collection. That was for the people that were telling me, it's after Easter. There's this lull between Easter and kind of summer with 4th of July, or because I did launch the stars, red and blue stars for last year for 4th of July. But there was this lull, and I was like, man, what if I could just pad print a little lemon on there, or, something fun for the everyday decoration. And so that has been great feedback as well on all of the collections. My stars were an interesting one only because of the points. And because all of my designs underneath have the same opening, so that if one of them fits your cabinet knob, all of them will fit your cabinet knob. Unfortunately, with the stars, the points kind of pose a problem if your cabinet knobs are close together. So that was the feedback that I heard on those. But if your cabinet knobs are far enough apart, then they look fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's just getting familiar with the product, seeing what works for your hardware, what doesn't. No one has ever decorated like this before, and I have to be willing to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, the whatever it is that people are trying to tell me to help me make my products better. I have to be able to listen.
Absolutely, and then sharing that information on on your socials and also on your website. So if you're letting
Mhm.
people know that this is something you need a space of this distance for your stars to work, then people can make
Yeah,
those decisions as well. So again, because
yeah.
you've got that feedback, you now know what you can tell other people to ensure that they are incredibly happy with the products and it works for their environment as well. And I forgot to mention you have the knobs as well as the handles now. So you've
Yes.
gone down both ways. It's
Yeah, so
they're fabulous.
this is my little display. So this is what I give retailers and wholesalers. Let's see if I can, there we
Yeah.
go. So knobbies are designed to fit a variety of different styles. So ranging from an inch to an inch and 3/4 or 3/8 in diameter. It could fit over this top one here. I mean, all of these different sizes. And then my handles collection simply snaps right over this cylinder, very popular style hardware. And it makes them look like peppermint sticks. I'll grab them here real quick. So this is what they
Yeah, I
look
love that.
like, and they will just snap right on there, and they are the cutest, easiest decoration. What I'm hearing though is that a lot of people have the rectangular ones. So I'm
Ah,
working on designing some sort of universal, maybe stretchier, like a silicone material rather than the hard plastic. But again, I've been able to launch this collection, and now I get to listen to my customers. What do you want? Like what do you want me to work on for next year?
and that is so important. As you say, it's not you going off on a tangent. I think I just want this. You're well and truly in tune, and really in a way, always random surveys in every that
Yeah.
feedback that you're getting. And let me tell you, the only reason I don't have it at home is I've got the really long handles and I don't have
Yes. Yes.
I don't have any knobs because I would have them here. I assume you ship to Australia. I
Oh,
should have asked you that. Do you ship
I
to
think
Australia?
I do. Yeah. So I
Good.
added international shipping this past summer. And
Excellent.
it's been amazing to see people from all over the world now be able to decorate in a way. I remember very early on, probably this summer, people were like, I love them, but there's nowhere for me to get them in Europe or in France or the UK. And I was like, you're right, because they don't exist, right?
Mm.
Like I invented something that the world had never seen before. And I didn't set out to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I went to go buy something and realized that I would want them and I wasn't the only one. And so this has been a true journey of I think I can do this. I think I can successfully design, market, and bring a product that people would want to decorate with and bring them joy. People email me or text me, well, not text me, but they email me or message me on social media and they're like, every morning I go into my kitchen, I smile. Like, what better customer review is it that you make people smile every day?
It's
And
unreal.
that comes from my teacher heart of like standing at the door and greeting the kids as they come in and making them smile and giving them a great start to the day. And I'm able to do that in people's homes without actually going there.
I love that. I love that. You started to just touch on then the other places that people can buy your products. So obviously you've got a
Mhm,
website, so you go direct to
mhm.
consumer, but you also have a
Correct.
wholesale side. So how did you go about finding retailers? And is that something that is sort of a big part of the future of the business, or sort of the direct to the consumer side?
Yeah, so obviously I launched direct to consumer. Nobody wanted to touch me and I honestly didn't want my product out there in the very beginning with an untested like I hadn't received feedback yet. How do I make it better? Because when I go to these retailers, I want to give them the best product that I can because they're selling it for me. They've taken a chance on me. And what ended up happening is I was doing direct to consumer, and a local retailer here, a woman who owns a small business, her name is Linda. I went there and pitched her my products, and she said, "Yeah, we would be interested in carrying them." So she carried them for a few seasons. And then last year she said, how would you feel about me repping your products to other boutiques across the US? And I said, I would love that. That would be great. So we do the Atlanta Mart in January, and then we did it in July this past year. We'll look at doing the Dallas Mart, but really growing that small business mindset of if you have a local boutique, they have every season, and you can go almost very similar to like a Happy Everything or a Nora Fleming, if you're familiar with them.
I am
They have
both.
decorations for all seasons, right? And now I've created something that you can use and decorate with for every season for your cabinet knob hardware. So that is the direction that we're headed. I also have some amazing ladies that I'm working with in the field of licensing. So licensed collections are in the works, and they are also going to be going not only in your kitchen, but Nobby's will be for bedroom collections
Ah,
for children's
oh,
dressers and maybe bathroom collections. So maybe if you have, a superhero room and you have a dresser, now you can have Captain America shield Nobby's on your dresser. So fun.
love
And
that.
just the sky is the limit. Like it's just so much fun to see where this can go from just an idea.
I love that. We've got more podcasts coming our way when you've got the next new range of
Oh,
products coming out. Um,
oh yeah.
and I have been to the Atlanta Fair Atlanta,
Yes.
what do you call it? Atlanta Market
The Atlanta
and the
Mart.
Dallas, yeah, and the Dallas Market. They're amazing. For any of us in Australia, they're I don't know how many times bigger they are than what we have here. They're exhausting, but
They are.
eye-opening and amazing events. Um, the one thing I wanted to raise something that I felt really strongly about that you do so well, and in your socials recently, you had an issue with one of your deliveries, and
Mhm.
I really loved the transparency with which you were dealing with this problem with your clients, and you were
Mhm.
sharing exactly what was going on so that you could actually inform your customers
Yeah.
of a delay, of
Yep.
things not going the way you want. Can you briefly tell us, how you came to the decision of going down that path? Because some people would hide it, not say anything for a
Yep.
period of time, but you were really upfront. And I think that's a great way, personally. I think it's the best way to do business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it stands to the testament that I'm not perfect. There's going to be issues that are out of my control. I can only control something as far as I can not do it myself, right? Like you have to be able to trust someone. And when you trust someone to deliver your packages, you trust that their interest is getting you your packages. And that was not the experience that I had with my previous shipment. It was my largest order to date. It was the most I had ever spent on inventory. It was the height of my holiday season, and a day before delivery, after having the tracking numbers in the system for over 30 days, all of my inventory was marked as undeliverable due to something that they said happened, although they would not tell me what happened. And it has been a fight. Um, they could have single handedly crippled my business in one day. But I don't stay there because I reached out to my amazing Carmine. I'm just going to name him Amazing Carmine. He let the factory know and he said, guys, they've actually taken all of the stuff you've been working months to get her. And when they heard that, they were like, absolutely not. We cannot leave her in this predicament for the remainder of the holiday season. They know how many orders I've placed with
Mm,
them. They know how fast, I've asked them to get it here and manufacture it. This is not a product that you go and you buy from a distributor. This is not a product that you go and, there's someone in the factory that's constantly making it. They don't make it unless I put my order in. This
mm,
is my product, my invention. They don't make money just making my product and having it sit on the shelves in their warehouse. So they didn't have anything else. And they stopped production on my Valentine's and my license collection with my Easter collection. And they were able to, this is amazing. They were able to, within 2 weeks, finish what I asked them to do. I couldn't get to the number that I had originally done because I didn't know how long it was going to take them. And it was at least fulfilling those pre orders that I had sitting there, which were hundreds of pre orders, hundreds of customers that counted on me to deliver a product that they had already paid for, that I had no reason to think that I wasn't going to receive this
mm,
inventory that was in their system, moving and accepted and all of those things. Um, and I had a duty to them. So outside of, well, I need thousands of these, peppermint stick candles. Hey, I'm going to reduce that number and I'm willing to not make as much money this year, just so that you can do it as quickly as possible and I can get that inventory to my customers who have already paid for it. So that right there tells you the kind of people that I surround myself with. And going to social media was really something that it wasn't a question. It was, how do I let them know? I had cried every day since I found out that I might not ever get this inventory. And what do I do? How do my customers understand this? How do I make it to where I don't even understand it? How do I communicate that with my customers? And it came down to this: I have to be transparent. There's no other way that my customers understand the anguish that I'm going through having invented a product, found a manufacturer, packaged it, shipped it here, only to have one day before it was supposed to be delivered, it all taken away from me. And I cannot even today tell you why, because I don't know. And all I can do is stand on the fact that I know amazing people. I have an amazing support team around me. My family has been wonderful. This has not been an easy journey
Mm.
at all. Probably the hardest thing I've done in business so far is something outside of my control, it having such an effect. And there's nothing that they would listen to me or do, or again, I still don't know why. Um, but the people that I was able to surround myself with, I get inventory this week and I'm shipping out. Last night we shipped out, I got my handles and my husband and I drove to the post office at the airport that's open until 10 o'clock at night. And I think we drove in there at like 9 o'clock, and delivered hundreds of pre-orders that I was like, I've got to fulfill these for my customers. They've been waiting, they've been patient, they've been so supportive. Uh, and when they tell me it doesn't make sense, I understand. I don't even understand how this happened.
And
And
it's a
so you move
terrible
forward.
lesson. No one wants to go through what you've gone through,
Mm-mm.
and I think that there are companies out there that would not have chosen to make less money. They would have just gone,
Yeah,
bad luck. Eventually, the products will get here, and I think it's
yeah,
again kudos to you and to your ethos of how you're going about your business. That's what you've
yeah.
chosen to do and how you've gone about doing it, and it's a lesson to us all about. I mean, you can't have every contingency covered, but having
Yeah.
strong relationships with all of your suppliers. So whether you're a retailer and you have suppliers who you buy stock from, or you're an inventor and you have a factory who creates a stock for you, having strong
Yeah.
relationships is what has saved the day for you. And I think in it we often forget the importance of the backward relationships as well as those relationships with our customers.
100%. It's a full circle, right? Like we all, I need my manufacturers, I need my connections there. I also need my customers to purchase the product from me. So it was not foreign to me to say I have to start emailing every single one of my customers, letting them know what's going on and giving them an option because they've entrusted me. It is now my duty to them. And anybody that reached out to me, what's going on, if they wanted to continue to cancel their order, it was, how do I give them the best customer service? It's absolutely, I will cancel your order. I hope you'll check back later on this holiday season when I have more stock, when my factory sends me more. But I will absolutely not hold your money. Like that was not the idea at all. I opened pre-orders to make sure that I would have enough inventory this year, because it's just me. I'm bootstrapping this entire thing, of this idea of bringing Knobby's to life. You have to start somewhere. And this is my starting ground. And I was really looking to ramp up this holiday season. And it's not like I can't, but it definitely was a hiccup in the road.
Yeah,
But
a
it
bit
does
of a
not
setback.
define me. It does not define my business. And I got the opportunity to speak to hundreds of my customers and be transparent with them. And I think they appreciated that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And fingers crossed that that little chapter is hopefully finished for you soon,
I hope
positively.
so.
Um, Now, I thought we'd wrap up on a sort of quite a broad question. So you've almost 3 years in business now, as you say, 18 months of actually selling, but 18 months of prep work. What's your favorite aspect of owning Nobbies?
Ooh, the creativity, I think, is the most rewarding aspect of, wow, I can bring an idea from my brain and I can make it into something. It's almost like my third baby. I can birth a product that was just an idea. And even when I mentioned it to my kids and my husband in the very beginning, they're like, I don't know that I fully understand where you're going with this. And I try to draw it, and then I would buy things that I could make prototypes. And they're like, okay, now I'm starting to understand. You could do this, you could do that, you could. And the sky was just the limit with ideas. And what I love is I've even had one customer who bought the handles. Bless his heart, they were just a little bit too wide for his handles. And he said, my wife wants them so much, I'm going to figure out a way that I can use them. And he started going into his little shop. He like filled it with some sort of putty or something. And then he snapped it on there and he was like, done. This is all you have to do for other people whenever they want to decorate like this. And I was like, yes, that's what it's about. It's about if you want it bad enough, go make it happen. And I think that is where I land. And as far as I wanted these really bad, like really bad. And I knew I wasn't the only one. So whatever risk was involved in that, really just leaning into, well, if this doesn't work, there's a way that it can, but I have to try. If I never try, I never bring this to market. I can never bring joy to people. I can never decorate with them myself. And I'm so glad I tried.
I think they're an absolutely amazing product. Actually, I'm going to ask you one more question. Which is your favorite?
Yes. That's a great question. I have to say the peppermints,
I was going to say
100%,
it's like,
because it that was my first choice. But when I first initially launched, I didn't have the money to pad print them. I didn't have the idea of how it would even work. And so I had to buy them blank, and I had to get proof of concept to do the glitter and to get to where I am now. But by far the red peppermint, I decorate they're all over my kitchen. Year round, right? Because I have to do product testing. So they're just on, and they bring me joy and a smile to my face. And I love to see people enjoy them as well.
that's fantastic. It's almost like asking who's your favorite child. Who's your favorite child? So it's not a really fair question.
Well, they're here at the house, so I won't mention who's my favorite.
Thank you so much, Morgan, for your time today, for your invention, for your enthusiasm in bringing it to market and your determination to bring it to market. I think it's fabulous. It's knobez.com. Then there's also the socials. You'll find the links on the website. I will share them in the show notes, though, so you've got everything here as well. I hope that this season is amazing for you. As I said, the socials are buzzing with what you've got going on. It's such a fun product. And if I change my kitchen, I am definitely getting some. I'm so glad you sell in Australia, though, because I know people who watch this, as soon as I share it on my socials here, will be going, yes, please, I need some of these. So to you and your family, though, it's a little bit early, but this will go out next week. We wish you a Merry Christmas as well. I hope you have time to enjoy the celebration with the family after a very big lead in to you. It's one thing in the Christmas industry. Pre-Christmas is pretty chaotic. But
it is. It's the busiest time of year before Christmas.
Christmas Day, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the meal someone else cooks for you, hopefully. So thank you so much again for joining me today. This is on the video as well as a podcast in case you're watching one or the other. You can check it out both ways. Have a sensational day to you, Morgan, and to everyone else. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, for having me. I truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Talk soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.